Good morning, Anna Mae Reyes. Thanks everyone for sharing it out. I really appreciate it. The Jolly Bee is always happy and always dancing. We are live back in Angelo City, Pampanga, just steps away from the walking street. A mere step or two, and we're on the wild and crazy streets of Angelo City. Sort of a Disneyland for adults, if you will. 2 million people are in the house. Stand by for feed. Oh, wait, what happened? Ah, there I am. I always amaze myself. How is everybody doing? Yeah, we're back in Angelo City because we're supposed to meet a friend of ours, Dave, who's right now, where is he? He's in Makati right now, I guess, but he was supposed to be in today, but Dave is delayed, and so he'll probably be in tomorrow. We're heading out back to Cebu pretty soon. I would say we're heading out. We're booked to fly out from Clark Airfield, Clark International Airport, they call it these days. At let's see, I think we're taking Cebu Pacific from Clark to Cebu, and then we'll have to find our way back to our apartment in Lahug City and or Lahug area. Larice is here. Larice, how you doing? Thanks for sharing it out and being so supportive. Hey, how did you like that chicken video? I want to explain what that is all about. The chicken video, some of you may may recognize. No, I think you might be a little bit young to remember Alice Cooper. But back in the day, Alice Cooper was in Toronto and he was doing a concert, and they hadn't been discovered yet. And some of you may not even know who Alice Cooper was. But anyway, a chicken had come across the stage in Toronto, and they tossed the chicken back into the audience, right? But the chicken imploded, from what I understand, and became a bucket of KFC in mid-flight. So anyway, the rumor started that Alice Cooper had bitten the head off the chicken, and so so we saw this chicken toy, right, in some fiesta. I think we were up in. That's right. We were up at Crystal's. Crystal's is such a beautiful hostess. Her and Mark, and it was a pleasure meeting Crystals up in Pangasinan. But they took us to, they're having a local fiesta. You know how they set up all the booths and they sell toys and food and all those wonderful things. Well, we went through there at the right time of the day, and so we had the place to ourselves. Things don't usually fire up until evening time. And so what we did was we went through the toy section, and it was a huge toy section. Had every kind of toy that you can imagine. And man, Minnie and I, being kids at heart, we picked up the train set, we picked up the chicken, and then we'll be doing videos on a couple of the other toys. Well, when I saw that chicken, I said, I have an idea for a video, right? And that was to commemorate that rumor. Now, Alice Cooper really didn't bite the head off of a chicken, but what ended up happening was, people started spreading the rumor that he did. And then so Frank Zappa Jr., who was alive at the time, I think Frank Zappa died of prostate cancer. Anyway, he called him up and said, "Hey, Alice Cooper, did you really bite the head off of the chicken?" And Alice Cooper said, "No." Well, Frank Zappa said, "You got to run with it. You got to say, yeah, it happened, because you're getting mileage out of this publicity." And of course, it launched Alice Cooper into superstardom. And so accompanying that video, of course, is an Alice Cooper number, and I wanted to use a few other songs, but I wouldn't think that people would understand what they were all about. So I went with the easy one, which is called I'm Hungry. And then I titled the video, you know, Filipina eats chicken, I'm hungry. Listen, I cracked myself up. I thought the whole thing was so funny. Tim is in the house. Good morning, Tim. We're back in Angela City at the same hotel in the same room that we left behind. They were kind of surprised to see us. So Anime's here. Larice Resurrection has been revived. And Larry Lee is here. Tim Deziak. Tim, thanks so much. I really enjoyed seeing you. I don't know if we're going to have time to hook up with you again, but it would be nice. It would be nice because you're such a pleasure to be around. So anyway, yeah. So man, Minnie and I. So here's what happened this morning. I got to tell you this. So this morning, I wake up around. Is Pacquiao Mertz in the house? Pacquiao Mertz is here. So go check out Mertz's videos and channel, and also her. She's doing really well on her Facebook page. I do believe. I really enjoy her what she posts on the Facebook page. I think if I'm not mistaken, I just saw somebody post a picture of her and her kids or her kids riding the taxi. I'm not sure about that whole thing, but I thought I saw something like that. And I was delighted. It looked like the same taxi that Man Minnie jumped into when we were at the mall. It's so funny. All right, so what else is going on? All right, Man Minnie and I, we woke up early because we got to bed early. We were kind of tuckered because we brought the bus back. We took the Victory Liner to Daú, and it's so easy to get from here to Pangasinan. It would blow your mind. So if you're anywhere in this area, you got to go to Pangasinan. Shout out to Mark and Crystal, who took really, really good care of us while we were there. So we spent 2 nights there, and they were making sure that all was taken care of. We had water, we had food, we had transportation. It was amazing. So shout out to Mark and Crystal's Adventures for taking such good care of us. I guarantee that we're going to be back. I'm very, very impressed with Pangasinan. I could hardly believe all the changes that I was witnessing there. Folks, there is money in Pangasinan and there is money to be had there. It has a whole different vibe, a whole different feel, and it resonated for Man Minnie and I. It just resonated. It just seemed like the place to be. And there are foreigners going in there everywhere, building palaces, monuments to themselves. Of course, that's not me. That's not my personality. But I enjoyed seeing it. I enjoyed seeing it because it was inspiring. Because whenever you see mansions, you have money. You have people there spending money. That's always great for the local economy. It's way more modern than I ever thought it would be. The infrastructure is solid. It is really, really good. So I'll tell you what, I see Leonard Lund in the green room, and we're going to pick him up in a minute. I just want to talk about today's subject matter. Today's subject matter is going to be Philippines, paradise or hell. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because Crystal's. We had a conversation on the ride back to the bus depot where we had to catch the Victory Liner back to Daú, and it was interesting because I was talking about how expats, people coming in from all over the world and setting up shop there and setting up businesses, they look at it as being the land of opportunity. They look at it and they sell it as being paradise because if you sell it as paradise, having a great vibe, then the money comes. The money comes to you. And I think a lot of YouTubers and a lot of business people, they know this. And so the whole thing what brought up the discussion was, are they selling the dream? Because they know if they sell the dream, they can make money. And in that case, it certainly is paradise. It's paradise for all of us that have decided to transplant ourselves because we wanted a smoother ride home in retirement. And so that's really, what the topic is, as opposed to Filipinos that live in the Philippines. Do they consider it paradise? And if you do consider it paradise, what do you have it to compare it to? What are you comparing it to? Because now, in the case of Crystal's, she spent a year in China as an English tutor. So, I mean, that gives you a whole different perspective on, on culture. It gives you enough exposure. A year gives you enough exposure to a culture of a new place in order for you to decide what's going on, if you like it or you don't like it, if it's paradise or not, compared to where you're living. Laurie says the Philippines is paradise, and so I'm kind of curious as to what she has to compare it to, or is she just happy with the vibe in the Philippines? In other words, you don't have to necessarily have exposure to some other place. But I'll tell you what, it's very, very important in the United States that you are exposed to different things. Otherwise, you get tunnel vision. You get this tunnel vision. Ah, Bunga action. Good morning. Hey, so of course I don't ever say Munga, right? I don't know why. I have a problem with that guttural G thing, going on. So anyway, let me give you a jacket. Yeah. Okay, let me give you a jacket because you're from the neighborhood. You're from around Bye Bye City, right? All right. So anyway, let's bring up Leonard Lund, and maybe he could shed some light on the subject. I don't even know if Leonard was. I see him eating donuts and having coffee in the green room. Put all that stuff down, Leonard, and we're going to bring you up. Oh, there you are. You're live,
Hi.
Leonard Lund from
Hey, thank you.
Houston, Texas. Hey, so tell me, uh, how did you get the idea that, or do you have the idea, Leonard Lund, that the Philippines is paradise?
Well, for starters, uh, you and well, you to some degree, but just following a bunch of vloggers, and I don't remember who it was I saw first.
Mm-hmm.
Probably Sunshine Shoulders, but might have been the very first one I ever watched, and he sold it good. You know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I felt like he was telling the truth,
Right.
and pretty much then I followed Old Dog. I still do. And
Hey, the old dog is like, I mean, somebody had give him the nickname, the Johnny Carson of the Philippines. I sort of feel that way. In
he is
person, he has,
funny.
yeah, people say that he has that persona, that star persona.
Yeah, he's
When
got
they
that
meet him,
star quality. You bet.
yeah, he's got that star quality. Even when they meet him in person, uh, uh, he's the same. He comes across the
That's
same.
what I've always heard.
Yeah.
And
So
and then I watched Steve. Philippine Information Channel,
Steve is
and
kind of, I like Steve. I like Steve a lot, but he's kind of losing a little bit of his luster, don't you think? There's something
he's
going on with, yeah,
I I don't know if it's the breakup,
yeah.
but it seems to have, that might just be me, but it seems like since then he's kind of been a bit off course. I think
Mm-hmm.
his rudder's
Mm-hmm.
I think his rudder's out of the water. Um, I mean, he still puts on a good show and
That's
has
sure.
good
That's for sure.
information.
Yep.
Still has good information, but it's
Yep.
less inviting.
Yeah. I wonder if Steve realizes that people notice that there's a slight change. I wonder if he
Yeah.
notices. I wonder if he
Well,
knows, or if people
I
have.
wonder if he plans it that way.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
he's
planned it.
yeah, because
Yeah.
he's built his own little community of expats, and
Right.
he's real selective who he wants to let in there.
Oh,
And
really? I didn't know that. I didn't know. I
yeah,
didn't know that there was a
yeah, I get that
membership
impression.
requirement. Yeah.
Well,
Wilma's here, and Sir Luke is in the house. Sir Luke, may the force be with you.
Sir Luke, Ma Wilma,
How you doing?
writer, of
Mm.
course, Larry.
So yeah, Larry's here. Hey, so now, um,
Anime.
all right. I want to share this with you. I mean, you're probably going to be surprised I didn't stop and have a chat with him, but I did say hello to regular guy. So when Man Meanie and I were walking from Dow, we came down Walking Street, and of course, everyone knows that regular guy when he's in town. Well, he has said on his YouTube channel that you'll usually find him hanging around at Philly
Oh
Willie's.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and so he was there, and so Man Meanie and I we were making a beeline to check into the kiosk hotel. And I didn't have a chance to really stop except to see him and wave to him and say, well,
Yeah.
I startled him. I'll admit it. I'm not starstruck. That's why I didn't. I mean, if I were starstruck, I would have turned around. I would have gone back. But no, we walked by. I saw him and I said, hey, it's regular guy. And we kept walking. Man, he didn't even miss a step. We kept going, boop, 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 right?
Yep.
And he shook his head like, who's that? Who's that? Who's that? Who's that? And then he had a guy next to him. I don't know if that was his sponsor for the beer he was drinking. But hey, regular guy is a very so. Speaking of people who have charisma, like Paul Old Dog New Tricks, regular guy has a charisma to him, and so I think you just have to have it, or you don't. You either have it or you don't. You either have it, the star quality, or you don't.
Yep.
And so then you have to rely upon content. So I have neither. But anyway, I have.
That's why I've only got 3 short videos.
Yeah, but you, to me, you have a certain quality that's appealing. I mean, to me, you do. You know,
Well,
and
I
so
haven't had too many people run away.
yeah, and also so does Larry. So does Larry Lee,
Oh,
and so does
Larry, yeah.
the Mac Daddy does also. There's a sort of a rhythm, you know, a thing. I can't really explain it.
No,
So anyway, I went. So we ran. We were like this, and there was a regular guy. Hey, it's regular guy, and he goes. He was startled, like, oh, I hope this isn't one of those crazy people that I was talking about earlier in one of my lives. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes it's better not. Sometimes it's better to keep on walking, right? I mean, he was enjoying a beer, but I got to tell you something. He's a very, very handsome man. He's a very handsome man, and he cleans up well, and you can also see that he has a charisma to him, a certain charisma. But the thing that I can tell you for sure about regular guy that he has in common with Larry Lee is their storytelling ability. For example,
Oh,
I
yes.
am almost sure, yes, their storytelling capabilities is something that Paul Old Dog New Tricks and regular guy and Larry Lee have in common.
Yeah, speak of the devil.
Yeah, there he is. And so, I mean, there's no, I mean,
And a handsome devil at that.
yes, find your niche. All you have to do
Look
is
in the
find
mirror,
your
whatever
niche.
you do.
Yeah, find your niche. Now, I can only show so many naked women. I can only do close-ups of so many Filipina breasts, and then I just get bored, you know.
I guess I haven't done that many.
I haven't showed enough yet.
Listen, I just end up getting bored, but it's
Yeah,
okay. uh, yeah, so that's probably. But he doesn't do that. But I mean, if you go in there and you watch his latest, you go in there and look at regular guy's videos. I mean, he hits absolutely a home run when he does the reviews on the 28 or 30 channels that he was inspired to review. I mean,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, I don't know if you've seen it, but it was amazing. I really liked it. I
actually didn't. But
I like the way he tore Geo a new hole. I really do. And also, however much he wants to be friends with Brian at Philly in the Philippines, it ain't never gonna happen. When he did that video and he kept referring to Bing, the girl that left the province for Angeles City
Yeah.
because her family needed money, and then he named her Bing. I was howling laughing. I had to be picked up off the floor. I was laughing so hard when he did that. Listen, this guy is one of the most creative talents on YouTube that I have ever seen. He's got a shtick, and all he's got to do is stay with it, and his channel is just going to continue to grow and grow and grow. So he's just a regular guy. He's sitting there throwing back, to San Miguel. He was just throwing back a 40 when I saw him. Not a 40, a beer. I actually, truth be told, didn't know what he was drinking. And then we were walking by real fast. Hey, it's regular guy. It's Scotty boy. Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. I could just see myself going up to him. You're Scotty boy. He'd be like, oh boy, it's going to be one of them days. And so after we checked in and we put everything away, then we went back down to see if you were still there. And no, I wasn't going to go offer to buy him a beer or anything. Why would I do that? I was just gonna talk to him for a few moments, tell him how much I enjoyed his channel and how brilliant of a guy I thought he was. So, but I didn't get the opportunity, but I probably will because he hangs out at Philly Willie's. So, do I think he's ever going to be a friend of Brian's? No. But hey, I don't know if you guys saw my latest videos, but the guy that's always on Brian's channel that does the shout outs, he was there. And of course, I had to video him doing the Dan and Minnie's Journey shout out.
Yeah, I saw that.
And he did a I had so much fun. Thanks for watching, sports fans. I mean, he's just becoming. I told him, I said, you by yourself are a YouTube superstar.
Leonard, Gurley told you hi.
Oh, hi. How you doing? Thanks for coming, everybody. We have 16 million people in the chat, which is a pretty good number. Oy. Anywho, paradise or hell. That's what we're talking about. It's my paradise. Why is that? Because of a whole bunch of different reasons. One is that I do have somebody to compare it to, by the way. That's an important thing. You have to have something, you can compare it to, I don't know, you can compare it to all the states in the union that you visited compared to the Philippines. That would be a legitimate way of comparing it. You can compare it by taking a look at finances. You can compare it by taking a look at the housing, by the people, by the availability of services, by the quirkiness of some of the things here. Oh, so sorry, sir. Out of stock. That happened to me twice yesterday. Out of stock, sir. So sorry. That's the only item that's out of stock. The only item that you wanted is out of stock. And you can compare it to whatever you want. So it's my paradise, but it can be other people's hell. They can get here not like the place for a whole variety of reasons.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's because the YouTube channels. Yeah.
And quite frankly, in my personal opinion, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
It's what I think.
It's what I think you think. Exactly.
The same.
Yeah, but are you capable of making your own opinion after you've been brainwashed by watching YouTube channels selling you the dream? You can move to the Philippines and live in a $60 per month apartment. Yay!
Actually, I know for a fact that's possible.
So, no, it is. It is possible, but you have other things that come with it.
Whether or not you like the neighborhood, your neighbors.
Oh, there's
the
a lot,
island that you're on, because from my understanding, each island can be different.
Oh yeah, of course.
I want an area that's got a decent hospital. Yep. My age. I don't have to be close to the beach. It's okay if I am, but that's not a priority for me. Uh, I but I want to be able to go to the mall, go get coffee,
Yeah.
be able to walk. That's one of the things I like about your place in Cebu. You're close enough you can walk to places, but there's a lot of
Yeah.
different cities that has that.
Right.
So I can't
Oh,
say
that
where
was
I'm
the
going to be
thing,
at.
Larry. You're bringing up something. You reminded me. So that was the biggest. That was the biggest surprise I got uh, heading up to Pangasinan. Was the last time 20 years ago that Minnie and I came through there. There was absolutely nothing. You shared the road with Carabao. I am not kidding you. And now there is everything. And so some areas like Tarlac, I think Tarlac, is that how you say it? In other areas, they leapfrog, like make huge steps in progress of things like infrastructure development and delivery of fresh water to people's houses, just like you got back home.
Oh
But
yeah.
every stop there, they had we made 2 or 3 stops at a regional mall that looked every bit uh, as modern as any that you've seen or that I've seen anywhere. I mean, it's just amazing. And so it's very, very impressive, and it's very, very exciting to me to see that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Anytime they make improvements.
well, like Dan says, there is huge jumps, especially in the countries that are behind the developed, what they call the developed countries. Some of the
Right.
other countries will
Developing
skip
country, right?
over, and make a huge jump because they skip over something.
Well, yeah, they can do that because they see how to get there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, they'll just jump completely from landline to uh, over the air
Right.
Right,
internet.
right.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They'll just jump a step, which puts them closer to being caught up.
Yeah.
What I want to see, and I believe I will see it, if not I, the next generation will see it, is those lines being underground,
Oh,
and
definitely.
that would put them actually ahead
Oh
of us
well,
in some
of course,
places.
you probably already know by watching Geo's channel that
I
they're
don't
already
watch
putting line.
Geo.
Oh, damn. Okay. All right, Larry. Whoa.
Man.
Whoa.
I'm saying
Hold
I,
it.
I'm just
Hold
saying
up. Hold
I,
up.
I
Okay,
won't
not a
watch
Geo
Geo, so
fan.
I said I don't watch
Okay.
it.
All right. I don't want to get in trouble, but if you go in there and every once in a while you take a peek, you'll see that some of the videos that he did in Newtown, Mactan, that area,
Yeah.
Newtown is all underground utilities. But I'm
Yep.
going to be doing that. I'm going to be doing a video on Pangasinan, and I just couldn't believe it. What you'll see is you're not going to see double and triple depth electrical lines everywhere, like in Manila or in parts
Yep.
of Cebu. You're
Well,
going to
Yep.
see everything organized with. You can see the transformer lines, the transformer, the resistors, just like back home in the 1970s, the 1980s.
Yeah.
I mean, it
Hello,
was very
Pacquiao.
impressive. Yeah.
And
How
Maurice.
by
you,
the way,
Mary?
Dan,
I was thinking,
Yasmin,
yeah,
uh, she's in the chat. She doesn't have a card. I don't know if
Yasmin,
you want to give her one, but she's saying
Who's
hi to
that?
everybody.
mega love shout out. Yasmin is
Oh, hi, Yasmin.
a great supporter. Moelma's here, Rider Adventure. Mernz, I was thinking about you today. We haven't chatted in a while, so I'm talking through Messenger,
Now
and
you
so
did say hi to Girly, right?
yeah, Gurley sent us here,
Okay.
and we'll be I'll be saying hello to you soon. Sir Luke is here. Sir
Yep.
Luke,
Tim,
Sir
it's way
Luke.
too damn high.
yeah.
May the force be with you, Luke.
Yes.
I couldn't pass it up.
I don't know why that seems
Tim, I
like.
don't know what the actual official numbers are, but the current cost of living in the United States is probably twice what it should be.
Oh well,
Yeah,
it depends on where you're at. You take California, Chicago, and certain areas in Texas and places in Florida even probably. It's outrageous.
Yep.
it is outrageous. It is outrageous.
Yep.
I mean, you
You'll
can't.
get a better deal if you want to freeze. for 6 or 8 months out of the year. You'll get a better deal on rent and things like that.
Well, you
But
go to the Midwest now. Like I said, Chicago. Don't go to Chicago.
No,
Yeah.
Chicago's
But you
way
go to
high
the
too.
Midwest and you get to some of the smaller towns. My hometown's about 80,000
well,
people.
but Illinois,
can
the
live in
state
my
of
hometown.
Illinois,
Cheaper than
if
can
you
live
go
in-
south, Larry, into the state of Illinois, it's
I
a
can go
beautiful.
south.
Yeah, you go south, right?
Right.
I
You're
used
gonna
to.
see-
I used to live in Illinois. I lived there for a couple of
Evansville
years.
comes to mind. Evansville.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Evansville's nice. I've been through there.
Well,
yeah, very reasonable.
Evansville is in Indiana.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
that's right.
It is. It's in Indiana. It's right
That's
across
right.
the board. My hometown, Terre Haute, is in Indiana, but it's you. When you leave my hometown, you only got about 4 or 5 miles, and you're in Illinois.
Oh, you remember I'm geographically challenged, you know?
I heard this
But-
somewhere.
Yeah.
Evansville's right down there by Kentucky and Illinois, right down there in that area. That's where Evansville
Yeah.
is. It's over 100,000 people.
So there are places to live. I mean, quite frankly, you've
Not
even
very
got
many. Not very.
there are not
many.
very many, affordable places to live that you would want to live. That's the whole thing.
That's the
We're
thing.
talking about where
If you can't,
you would
the
want to
only
live.
ones. Well, no. The biggest thing is. I got a call. I'm gonna have to drop off.
All right, hey guys, I'm gonna pop a double mint gum thing in my mouth because I don't want you guys to have to smell my bad breath. I just had coffee. I have coffee breath. I'm breathing my own breath. I can smell coffee. All right. So when you have to take 50% of your income and put it towards rent, that's problematic. So that in of itself, and that's what's happening in the United States. You have to kind of set aside 50% of your income
Hey, Jerry.
in order to pay that rent or the mortgage payment. That's why both the husband and the wife have to work so damn hard in order to make the household budget. And I'm not saying they don't have to do that in the Philippines, but I'd rather have the view of the rice paddies, the rubber, the coffee plantation, the farm, the goats roaming around, the white sandy beaches with a cabana boy nearby. That's all way more appealing than thinking about how I'm going to have to dedicate or allocate is a better way of saying it, 50% of my gross income towards paying for my housing.
Like you said, if you're going to visit those areas a lot, okay, and where you would be spending a lot of money on a hotel or a B&B, why not get a nice little apartment that's there so you don't have to try, well, let me see if I can find a place to stay. I wouldn't want too many. Matter of fact, with me, I probably wouldn't travel that much. I probably just have the place I live. But if I did travel, it would probably be just to one other area, and maybe have a second one. But I don't see myself doing that.
Tim, listen, Tim.
Guys, I saw Tim's comment about you.
Yeah, Tim, listen. The cola is a rigged game. There's what the government says the cost of living is, and then there's because they don't want to pay out. They don't want to pay out what the real cola adjustment would be. And so they fake it. They fake it by taking energy out of the equation, by taking food out of the equation. They fake the whole thing. Well, you have to look to get a better idea of what's going on in the United States. You have to look at other factors. You have to, of course, the cost of food is going to give you a great idea of what's going on in the United States in terms of inflation. But other things you would be looking at to give you a clue as to whether things are happening, if they're getting good or getting bad in the United States, you would look at car sales. You would look at you would look at the sale of durable goods like washers, dryers, refrigerators. You would look at what people were spending on vacation. LV, 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 LV. You would be looking at those types of things, as well as whether towing businesses are doing more tows per day than they previously did because they're doing car repossessions. Now, keep in mind something. You would be looking at productivity, worker productivity. And when you factor all of those things in, you see a horrible, horrible future for the United States moving forward towards the end of 2023. Because Dan has looked at the numbers, so you don't have to. But if you want to go in and fact check me, go in and fact check me. And what you're going to find out is what Dan has found out. Things are heading south. Worker productivity. Why is that important? Because when worker productivity goes down, and that's reflected in those quarterly reports, it means not that individual Dan is not working, and not being productive. That's not what it means. It means fewer people have jobs and are going to work, because what they're doing is they're taking all the productivity. And when the productivity numbers start to go up, that means everybody's working. When it starts to go down, that means people are being laid off. So that's
LV asked me about my vacation. It was great. It was too short, like usual. But I didn't really take any real videos.
Thanks for the warning.
But like I said, I really didn't take. I took a short video of my mother. I may put that up, but that's about the only video I took. I mean, it's not even, I don't think, 30 seconds.
So what else are you going to be looking at, Larry? What else are you going to be looking at as far as, the impacts to, the other thing. All right, here, very important thing. When gasoline sales decline, that means what? People aren't commuting.
Yeah.
Right. It means
they're not commuting. They're not going back and forth to work. Yeah. They're not commuting.
Still a lot of people working from home.
A lot of people are still working from home, but our economy is based on what? The petrodollar, petroleum products.
I don't know if it's actually based on that, but I know that definitely influences it heavily.
Well, of course, energy is how the United States was born. It was born from energy, cheap energy. Cheap energy allowed us to industrialize. And so the whole economy is based on cheap energy. Once it stops, once it comes to a halt. Listen, there may well be a global recession coming, and how you can tell is China is sucking wind. Of course, they regulate the news. They they control their own news media.
Right.
And so you start.
Hey, LV Rose.
Factories shutting down. Chinese factories are shutting down everywhere. And 99-cent store goods are piling up at the ports. They're stacking containers everywhere they could fit a container, because nobody is buying plastic spatulas any longer. No one is buying Tupperware style goods, the plastic things to store food. So you take a look at all these things and you get a perspective about what's going on in the United States and what's going on globally. How will it impact the Philippines? Not very much. You know why it won't so much? Yes, of course, there's going to be inflation. As most of you know, the price of rice is going skyrocket. It always goes up and almost never comes down. But the reason why, just like everything, the reason why it may have only a minimal impact on the Philippines is you've got all these great things going on. Number one, we didn't overbuild in the Philippines. No one went out there and decided that the sky's the limit on building. They were very, very careful about, and here's the other thing, a thing that got China in trouble that is not impacting the Philippines is the pre-sale of condominiums.
Right.
So the way the Chinese do it is they pre-sell. You put your money up in advance. and then you have to make
Yeah.
monthly payments and that money is capitalized. That money goes towards building the project. That's not how they do it in the Philippines. They do it
Well,
Western style.
I'd heard there are some places doing that.
They pre-sell, but those pre-sale monies go into escrow accounts. They don't go into the developer's pocket. See, they pre-sell and they use it as collateral against the bank loan.
Oh,
And
okay.
the people lending the money are Bank of America, Citibank, Bank of the Philippines. All the big commercial banks are still loan. See, Citibank, they left the consumer banking business in the Philippines and Southeast Asia. They have left, but there are plenty of Citibank transactions going on in the Philippines and Southeast Asia. They do commercial lending, and they still are in the consumer lending business by issuing credit cards. So all this, it's structured differently here in the Philippines.
Yeah.
They didn't overbuild. They didn't overbuild residential housing subdivisions, and even though demand is keeping up with what they're building. In other words, they're about even. So, in other words, that's good news. And the great news is the United States is they keep pumping dollars into the Philippine economy. And so now I just want to, this is loosely connected, right? And that is that I talked about before how, you know, the Chinese yuan, they're talking about creating a central bank currency. And folks, you can see because they're running into they're in economic distress. This cannot fly. You know, we're talking about the BRICS. It cannot fly because you don't have people in there other than Saudi Arabia and a few others that can come close to matching the strength of the dollar.
Right.
That's the whole thing. It can't happen the way that a lot of the naysayers. You notice now that all of a sudden, a couple months ago, everybody was talking about the downfall of the dollar. Dun
Yeah.
dun dun. Oh my God, the dollar is losing value. Dun dun
Yep.
dun. Well, guess what? You're not seeing those YouTube videos any longer. Why?
You're not seeing it on national news either.
Yeah, it's because it ain't never gonna happen that way. There is not enough
not at this
money.
time anyway.
No, if there's well, at any time there isn't enough money in the world to overtake the U.S. dollar, and so
I
that
believe
means
that, but
no. Well, there isn't. I mean, it's just
no,
a
I do
fact.
believe that. I agree.
Yeah,
with you.
it's just a fact, Leonard,
World tours.
that it cannot happen. It can never happen in our lifetime. It cannot happen,
Yeah,
and
I
so
don't think so either.
yeah. And so everybody thinks, well, even if they create a central bank digital currency, it's still a dollar is still a dollar. And even if you create a digital bank currency, it's still going to be based
Yeah,
on
but
the
see,
petrodollar.
I still don't believe that the U.S. will do that because the what do they call that thing they came out with? All that is software to communicate from bank to bank. It has nothing to do with currency or money. Now,
Crypto.
Fed
Oh,
now,
you're talking about the blockchain.
the Fed now.
Yeah. Fed now is a blockchain system. All you're doing is they realize that how cryptocurrency exchanges can
It's
dip into their profits. It could
yeah,
dip into
it's nothing. It's nothing more
their
than
fees.
communication between banks so they can move money faster.
They can move
It's not
money
digital.
faster.
It's
And
not digital currency.
well, they're cutting back. What they would do is they're cutting out middlemen. That's what they're doing.
Yeah,
They're cutting out how many steps it takes to get money from point A to point B because they're old school transitory or transit laws in effect, and they have an electronic transfer of money. There are treaties that are involved.
yeah,
If you send money from point A to point B, it must transit through these different transiting points, and each time it moves there, people are paid for the use of those wire transfer. All they
right.
were trying to do is cut them out because they're being cut out through the movement of cryptocurrency, because all I had to do was exchange my money into crypto, and then I transfer it, and then when it gets to the other end, I sell my cryptocurrency for cash, for dollars. That was the problem. And so the fee collection started to go down. The collecting of fees. They had to come up with a new way to deal with it. That's one reason, and may not even be the primary reason, but I believe that it is. In other words, it started to bite into their profits.
Well, I think it's actually the Fed provide or not allowing digital currency.
No, the Fed. I'll tell you what.
The Fed doesn't want it.
Okay, you're thinking that, but I'm going to tell you, you're thinking that. But let me walk you through this way. Do you believe that the Philippine government and the U.S. government are married?
Rubalicious, hello.
They are married, my friend. They're married with children.
Hi, Rubalicious. They're married with what? With
they're
children?
married with children. And so you can fact check me on this. All you have to do to take a look, one sign would be, how did Marcos become president? Marcos Jr.
He got
and then you're
elected
going
by
to
the people.
Oh yeah. Here's what you're going to discover: that prior to him running, he came to the United States to get the blessing of the U.S. government and the backing of the U.S. government, their endorsement for his family. And then once he secured the endorsement of the U.S. government, they provided him with all the number one marketing firms that we use here in the United States to assist him in his campaign to guarantee his win. That's all you have to do is look. And while he was here, he collected millions of dollars in campaign contributions from Filipinos working overseas.
Yeah.
That became very, very successful here in the United States, that have ties to his family when Ferdinand Marcos.
Luke, I like that show too.
Particularly to his father, that had families, old-time Filipino families, that had a loyalty to Marcos. And by the way, I'm happy, and I'm happy he won, because things are going beautifully here in the Philippines underneath his presidency.
I think so too, from what I've heard.
Hey, Sammy, thanks for coming to the live. I appreciate it. So you see,
hey, Sammy, how are you?
And then the next thing you know, it cannot be ignored, not even by you, Leonard, that the United States is. And then the next thing you know, what happens? The military returns.
Right. Well, China had a lot to do with that.
No, I don't believe so, because Duterte, China has thrown billions of dollars into the Philippines for infrastructure projects, and they still do. They still do.
But the whole
thing is smoke and mirrors. You have to create a crisis. That's what keeps the money flowing.
China's trying to take Taiwan back, is scaring the Philippines. And the U.S. doesn't want that to happen because they have an agreement with Taiwan. And so the Philippines...
It's a verbal agreement. It's not a treaty.
It's not actually a treaty, but it's an agreement. And
it's a verbal agreement.
The Philippines let the U.S. come back in here to protect them and Taiwan.
You don't have to fear China from coming into the Philippines.
No, I don't know.
They're already here. They've given the Philippines billions of dollars in grants for infrastructure and improvement. The United States, the money that they put in here until recently, pales in comparison. So
the Philippines don't want.
I'm very skeptical.
The Philippines don't want Chinese control there.
They don't want Americans here either. They don't want the U.S. here either.
That's the agreement that they have with the U.S., though, that the U.S. won't.
Right. Marco said, I don't see a future for the Philippines without U.S. involvement. Do you remember that speech?
Yeah, and that's
Right.
because of the China. That's because he's trying to get and keep China out.
Well, I'm not sure it has more to do with that than it does guarantee the industrialization of the Philippines.
Well,
In
one
other words,
goes hand in hand.
you're
One
looking at
goes
the
hand in
war.
hand with the other.
You're see, it's smoke and mirrors. In other words, you have to. It's necessary for them to create this crisis to come up with a way of taking U.S. taxpayer money and floating it into places that it's needed here in the Philippines, and also to give the military access to bases. So in case something did happen, they would be able to launch from here. But I don't see how putting us here in the Philippines is any different. It gets us any closer because we already have a mega base with B-52s in Guam, and we're all over Okinawa. We're
Right.
all over Okinawa and Japan. I mean, we already have bases in strategic locations. The
Right.
northern
But
the northern
the
part of the Philippines
Philippines,
makes sense.
yeah, the Philippines makes sense also because it gives us another angle. And
Right.
the Philippines can handle the aircraft carriers and stuff, which
Right.
I
They have
don't
deep
know.
water channels.
Right. I don't
Exactly
know
right.
whether Okinawa can.
I'm just pointing out that I am skeptical of the whole thing. That's
Well,
all I'm pointing out. You know,
yeah, but that
everybody is looking at at protection, war, and I keep thinking to myself, man, the military industrial complex survives and thrives. But remember that it works the same way in China as it does the U.S. In other words,
except that China,
people are
except
making
that
money.
China
Conflict is
has
good.
overbuilt their military.
Right, but you also realize, which is a good thing, right, Leonard? Because you also realize that a lot of the technology used in the building of their military
Oh, it's
industrial
old now.
complex
It's
involves
old.
U.S. technology.
Yeah, that they
In other
stole
words,
from us.
yeah. Well, you say theft, but
It was espionage.
we openly sell things that they need to modernize their military. We openly sell it. So how much are we trying, how much are we trying to prevent
Yeah.
a military conflict with China when a very simple thing like not selling them chips that they need for their computer infrastructure would kill their entire military. Uh,
But they already got the chips because they take them from Taiwan.
they buy them from Intel, my friend. Dude,
But they're
dude,
made in Taiwan.
look, the whole thing. Why can't people see? I'm just frustrated here because why can't people see that the whole thing is a charade? The whole thing is smoke and
You know,
mirrors.
Dan, I
See,
really hope you're right.
all you have to do is line my pockets,
Yeah,
and I'm going to do whatever you want, pretty much.
Yeah,
Dan, I
well,
really hope you're
I
right.
don't know if it's smoke and mirrors. It may be rattling the sword to
Yeah,
get more money.
Folks,
it's definitely that.
War is good. You know, it's bad in that we send young innocent people
Yeah, but we profit from
overseas
war.
and
Always
we put
have.
Yes,
them
we
in harm's
profit big
way.
time from war.
But the connection to private commercial industry and the U.S. government and governments around the world is too cozy. They make money, so
Yeah,
of course they're going to encourage the buildup of equipment and machinery, and in the case of that other conflict that's going on, the expending of it, because you can't continually stockpile it. You have to use it at some point in time, so people would have to reorder products. So
yeah,
look at it from a salesman's perspective.
yeah. But
Dan's a salesman.
I'm not a salesman,
Well,
so
look
I
at
look
it
at
from
it
a
from a realistic point of view.
profit
Hey, Mike,
perspective.
married to a beautiful woman.
This is
Mike.
the realistic. This is the most realistic point of view that there is.
Well,
It's making
I don't
money.
agree with that, but
It's making money. Nothing else matters. The United States should not be anywhere near where they are in terms of this imperialistic takeover attitude of every country in the world until everybody is like us. Do you agree with that or not?
well, I got mixed feelings about the U.S. being imperialistic. We have had times when we were, but I don't think we are now.
Well, I, the thing is, I think a lot of that depends on whether you're a friend or not. I think with our friends,
Okay,
we're
well
less materialistic.
let's see what Sir Luke has to say about it. There's a funny history there. Parts of the SR-71 used to spy on the USSR were made from titanium mined in Russia. Also, parts for the F-22 were manufactured in a washing machine factory in China. So that's
Both
kind
true.
of
Both true.
that's kind of my viewpoint on the whole
Yep.
thing. Yeah, you don't want to go to war, then why do we sell? Why are we selling each other parts? Ruby,
Yep.
I was so excited to see your message the other day. I was so excited. I had not forgotten about you, Ruby, for crying out loud.
I
I just
finally
wanted to
called
let
one
you
of her
know that.
lives the other day.
Yeah,
I keep
I think
missing
that.
her.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to buckle down. I'm going to have to go in and reorient myself, reacquaint myself with Ruby's live streams. I really enjoyed them. Oh,
Yes.
she knows that. She knows
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
Anyway, all right. What does Mike have to say? Mike, is the United States an imperialist regime? And will it survive, or will it fall like the Roman Empire? That's my question.
Well, it's got a lot of years to go if it's going to be like the Roman Empire.
That's true. It happens very slowly but surely.
Yep. That's very possible, though.
Rubylicious says she's pregnant now, Dan.
Oh,
Congratulations.
congratulations, Ruby.
Congratulations, Ruby.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yes, it has been a long time. Yeah, I need to get there, and
Well,
that's beautiful.
Mike says war is only good for the rich, not for the poor. The one thing about war is it creates jobs.
Yes, it does. It creates a lot of jobs.
I hate to say it, but so it does benefit the working class, but not to where I would think it's worth losing the people we lose.
Yeah, that's the
All
that's
right?
the bad trade-off there.
The rich families that Mike is referring to, I don't want to put words in his mouth, are not concerned with you losing your kid in a
I know.
war in which they're going to profit tremendously.
Oh, I know, but I just said
No,
the
they
working class
are not,
profits
definitely.
as well. But if given the choice, I don't think the working class would want to profit. They'd rather not
They
have the war.
sell
Yeah.
they sell the American public. They sell. I'll tell you what. Every countries like that. You know that they will sell their population on any story in order to get the benefit for which they are seeking.
Yeah, just look at the Iraq War. That was nothing but lies that got it to happen.
Exactly. Good example. Ruby says, I'm a Filipino, but sometimes I hate it. Well, I think the whole conversation is because, you know, is the Philippines your paradise? And then is it your perspective that it's paradise from the Filipino perspective from living here? Or is it your perspective that it's paradise by being an expatriate, you know, by being a Westerner that either has the dream of coming here or already lives here? And so I gave my point of view saying that it's paradise to me. And I gave a couple of different reasons. My life has improved 1,000-fold since coming here.
That says it all right there.
Yeah. And
And
it's because
in general, that's a general opinion of pretty much all the vloggers I hear.
But there are things that there are negative aspects of living here.
There's negative aspects of breathing air. I mean, you know,
Well,
there's
there's a
negative
lot of negative
aspects to
aspects to
everything.
living in the
I
States.
mean, can you live with open sewers? You know, can you live with
That's how I
having to
grew up.
go down and
Don't live in
uh,
San Francisco.
Yeah,
collect rainwater for daily use,
yeah,
Like I said, don't live in
collect
San Francisco.
yep.
washing your clothes in the river, let's say.
Could I live that way? I could
Yeah.
live with doing my clothes in the river. I could live with that.
I could.
Uh,
Well,
maybe
I don't know if I
collecting
could physically
rainwater,
do it, but
but I don't think I would. That's why I would. That's why I went in a bigger city. I don't really want open sewers as much. That's why I think the bigger cities would be a little bit better. I mean, there's going to be people urinating everywhere. That happens in the Philippines, from what I hear. I can live with
Tim has
that.
hell,
said
that happens in half the states.
Yeah,
Tim has said my
it's
health
happening in
has
the big cities.
improved.
There's a lot of big cities out here.
Yep.
Tim, why do you think that moving to the Philippines has contributed to your health improving? Because I could tell you this, mine certainly has. And man, Minnie can testify to this. And so I'm curious what changed that your health improved, Tim. Was it stress related, do you think? Was it food related? Did it have anything to do with the environment?
I'd say probably all three of those. I'm guessing because I can't say what Tim's going to say, but
Mike says the next election will decide the way the U.S. will go. Okay, so we try and stay away a little bit from politics, but let's entertain it for a few moments. Mike, the whole Trump thing.
yeah, it
So
all
I
depends.
want
here's
It all
somebody different between Trump and Biden. I don't want either one of them.
well, here's the thing. You probably won't get either one of them, but you need both of them to be in the race
Well,
because
I don't
Trump
want
is
either
going to.
one.
They will. You don't want either one, but Trump will stay in, and
Well, I
Trump
know
is
Trump will stay in, so will
will
Biden.
stay in. He's
Yeah.
going to be the deal killer. He's going to upset the apple cart, which is going to get some.
it's going to get Biden reelected.
No, it's going to get Robert Kennedy elected,
No, it won't.
not Biden.
He's not. He's nowhere near close enough. He's a
He's got
Republican.
20% in the polls. He's 20% up in
He's
the
a
polls.
Republican, so he's
This is
going to be
the-
in a Republican primary.
No, Robert
This is
Kennedy's
the first
Democrat.
time
No,
that
he's
this has
not.
happened.
He's registered
since
as a
Ross
Democrat. He's
Perot.
running as a Democrat.
Yes,
Well,
yes, Ross Perot. Remember
everything
how?
I've seen about him has said he was a Republican. Not things he did, but when he's doing a newscast or whatever, they put up there Robert Kennedy Jr. R.
If Trump stays in it and the millennials vote, they will vote in Kennedy.
Like I said,
Well, they
Kennedy's,
will vote
Kennedy's
Kennedy
registered
in.
Democrat. He's running as a Democrat. He's not running
Well,
in the Republican
I'll have
primary.
to check that out
He's
because
running as a
I
Democrat.
always thought he was a Republican.
No,
Well, it's because his
I
politics,
think he's
his politics
neither
are
one.
moderate. You see, they were moderate. See, the thing is,
he's a moderate, but he was not a Republican. I don't
He
think he was a
reminded
Democrat. I
me-
think he was like
He's a dino if he's a
he
Democrat.
reminds me of Reagan. That's who he reminds me of.
That's a Republican.
no,
Straight
Yes,
up.
of course. Yes,
Reagan was
I know.
Republican, but Robert Kennedy isn't.
Yeah,
Robert
I'll have to
Kennedy
check
Jr.
that
is
out.
not.
Kennedy is a Democrat, but I'm just telling
I'll
you
have to
that
check that out.
who he reminds me of. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm just saying that.
But you know,
Reagan was
there is something
bad
there is
Republican.
an interesting topic here, and that is that those were my thoughts initially, and then while we're talking, then all of a sudden something hit me like a ton of bricks, and I was just thinking that if they don't want the Kennedy dynasty to continue, then something terrible may occur.
Right now, of all the candidates, Republican and Democrat both, I would probably vote Kennedy. I think he's the most middle of the road of all of them, and that's where I'm at. I'm more middle of the road.
Yeah, Joe Biden needs a keeper, quite frankly, and he probably has
Keep
several.
them at home.
Yeah, he needs a keeper because there's a couple of times I've seen him where he's looking out into empty space, and you just think that he's going to fall over. You know, I worry about him. I worry about him.
Oh yeah.
Now that I wish they would stop showing that crap over and over again in a loop on some of these.
Which crap?
Some of the things where he's looking out into empty space, and there's a bird tweeting in the background.
Oh,
Or what about the ones where he just keeps repeating the same word for a while, trying to, or you can't make sense of what he's saying?
Yeah, exactly. Happened recently. I think. Where was he? Where that happened? Where was he giving a speech and he seemed to drift off and lost his train of thought? Something
yeah,
happened very
I
recently.
agree with that, Tim.
Yeah. What does Tim say?
He said a lot of Republicans are rhinos, Republican in name only.
That's true. I have to agree. That's true.
Yep.
So I think in the Philippines, being paradise, when it comes to politics, Marcos is doing everything that he possibly can not to appear to be like his father.
Yep.
Trump has been blacklisted by the deep state in Washington. This means both sides don't like him. Yeah, Sir Luke,
There's
exactly
a lot of
right.
people
They're going to come after him with both barrels because he has uttered the words that nobody wants to hear. And then I will deball the CIA and the FBI
Yeah.
and the Department of Justice. I will dismantle. I'm going to go in there and clean house. And so when you say deep state, this is how I interpret it. Okay, when you have bureaucratic employees, and I notice this, of course, firsthand experience working in a bureaucratic organization, a governmental agency, people never leave. And so when they don't leave, it gives them tremendous amount of power and control.
Right.
And so that's what the problem is when you get.
Well, they discuss term limits, and of course that means the politicians have to vote for it, and they won't do it.
They leave, but we're not talking about Senate or Congress. We're talking about the career bureaucrats,
right?
That have
those guys.
Yeah, they're not elected. They're just in there and they stay forever.
Right, they stay forever because they have civil service protection. And civil service protection for career employees gives them an awful lot of power.
Yep.
Power to control. In other words, but there is something that I think that is a deal killer in all this. Sir Luke, I would be interested in hearing your opinion about this, and that is that if the technocrats have control and have knowledge of everybody's electronic movements, everybody's electronic signatures in their movements, wouldn't that give them even the power and control over the bureaucrats in DC that are long-term bureaucratic career employees of the FBI and the CIA and Homeland Security? Yeah. And would it have any impact whatsoever in the amount of power that they truly have? In other words, they would be able to see everything, and so they would be able to have a tremendous amount of impact over those agencies. So is Trump or Biden a friend to the technocrats? That's an interesting question.
Well, Mike, you just said Trump making the speech is like listening to a teenager, can't string a sentence together. Mike, you need to listen to Joe Biden. You think Trump's bad, listen to Biden. That's why I said I don't want either one of them.
But since the Philippines and the U.S. are married to each other, the thing that's keeping the Philippine economy afloat and will continue is the United States pouring U.S. dollars in here.
Yep.
And so the government thing, as Larry and as Leonard and Larry, as you both pointed out in some of your statements, this can be a really, really good thing from that
Yes.
perspective.
Yes,
You
it
know,
can.
and so because Larry, as you point out, it creates a whole bunch of jobs, and those jobs, of course, the people working will it'll trickle down into the Philippine economy, and
Right.
it is basically already happening. You can see it just about everywhere you go. People are
Yeah.
spending money.
Especially the areas where the bases are that the U.S. military is going to use,
Right, exactly.
because they're going to have so much support personnel they have to hire that is going to be Filipino.
Right, right.
So
Mike says two things need to be done in the U.S. Common sense needs to be returned. Second thing, people need to be nicer to each other.
gotta agree with you, Mike.
Huh? It's hard to argue with that.
Yeah, gotta agree with it.
Oh,
On either side, you got to agree to that.
Yep.
yeah. Okay, Mike. Making a speech about listening to a teenager who can't string. Oh, well, you already talked about that.
Yep.
Maybe he's just overthinking, Sir Mike.
That could be true.
Crystals, you kill
Well,
me
not Trump,
sometimes, you know?
but
Crystals is so funny sometimes. Ah, FL Woods is here, the husband, the significant other of
Of
Ruby
Rubylicious.
Licious.
Yeah.
yeah,
When the news gets out that the 17 recorded phone calls between Burisma, Hunter, and Joe, it is over for the Biden crime family. Yeah, but see, it's not lost on me, FL. It is not lost on me that corruption, it's in every circle. Goes it's everywhere, and so there's this over here, there's that over there, right?
yeah.
And so I
But
don't know
haven't you heard the latest?
what's the latest.
All those recordings have been analyzed. The laptop everybody's talking about all the time
Right,
was
right.
empty. There wasn't anything on it. So, I mean, that's all been brought out by FBI spokesman. And
Okay.
these supposed recorded phone calls between Burisma, Hunter, and Joe. First off, Joe wasn't on them, and secondly, there was nothing, nothing that resembled treason or deal making or anything like that. It was all legit stuff. So, that's all just something Trump was blowing out there to try to win the election in 2020. Just like he threw all that stuff up about Hillary and her emails. They got her emails, they got her server, and it was more secure than the federal servers. Those things are being hacked every other day by 13-year-old kids in high school.
Okay.
So,
I think I have to reserve my comment on that because it's just more of the same stuff that I've already talked about. And that is that, where people can enrich themselves, they will enrich themselves. That's my thought about that. It's hard. The temptation it's very difficult when you're tempted not to take advantage of your position, of power.
you're well said, Mike. Woke is not a negative thing. Woke means you actually know what's going on around you. Just like Mike said.
Sir Luke, that may clash with the rights of a New Yorker to be an a-hole. I think Sir Luke brings up a good point. That's a requirement for living in New York City.
Yes.
I didn't say New York State, Larry. I said New York City.
Well, it may not hurt to be one of New York State, too.
Oh, the Mac Daddy is in the house. Oh, hell.
He has arrived.
We asked. I mean, we wished him here because we started talking smack. So here he is. We started
My
talking
ears
smack,
were burning.
so go ahead. Go ahead. I'll keep my mouth shut for a minute.
No, good evening. Good evening. My ears were burning. I said,
Hello,
"Uh oh."
Sanelli.
Well, Mike, you're saying that they're not building, but they are. They are. They're building the facilities that
They're
they need to provide the
they're
services.
expanding existing bases.
Expanding it means build.
And
Yes,
Crystal
Well,
says, hello,
they're-
Mac Daddy.
They're not building any new ones,
Hi, everybody.
and
they're not building a
sharing-
new base. They're not
No.
building any new bases, but
No,
they're
they're adding
expanding and they're
facilities.
still building.
Right. Well, right.
I mean,
And they're going
there's-
to share a bunch of bases.
Well,
Right.
they're not,
North
I don't
latest
think they're
count.
going to build any bases of their own. They'll just share all the bases that they
Right.
use. But
Right,
they will
but they're
make
gonna build-
improvements, I think,
Right,
on all
they're
those
gonna-
bases.
Going to build infrastructure and
So I said
buildings.
they'll make some new infrastructure for their own use,
Yep.
plus probably improve some of the other infrastructure for the Filipino use.
Oh, of
That's
course.
probably the cost of doing business.
Yep.
Well,
Epa Woods is saying, I think
And
he's
they will
talking
hire
about.
more Filipinos to work.
I
Filipinos
think he's
to
talking
work
about
at the
Clinton
bases.
servers, right? 30,000 deleted emails that were subpoenaed.
And she deleted a lot of emails.
Well, the thing is, nothing is ever really deleted. They can always get it back.
Well, not if you get rid of the phone.
Well, yeah,
These days, if you want to protect, so
They're-
I'll tell you
that
the
would be
guy.
on her server.
This
Well,
might be
she
getting
actually
off.
used her private phone or private email for a lot of that stuff. Which
Yeah.
she wasn't
If
supposed
you
yeah,
to.
were
but that
using-
was on
if
her
you weren't-
server.
Yeah, on her
It was on
server.
her
If-
server. It wasn't. She may have been looking at them on her phone, but they
Yeah.
were actually stored on her server.
right.
They
So
were
there's
not
a
deleted.
little bit of difference if you have a closed system,
Yeah.
as opposed to you're using a cloud-based system. So a lot of governmental agency they actually have a closed system where you can't.
LJ,
They're not on.
Yep.
They're not on the public. They don't use the
LJ Rose, how
airwaves
are
in
you?
order to transmit information. It's a closed server system.
Tim said hi, Ed.
hi, everybody. I can't see any of the chat because I'm on my cell phone, so I'm not trying to
Oh,
be
well,
rude.
this
I
could
just
be-
can't see.
Well,
This
that's why I
could be a-
told you. I just guessed.
Oh no, you guys are great. I really appreciate you doing that.
This
I'm
could
just
be a
telling
good thing.
everybody else in the audience.
Hey, Filipina Raquel, are you here?
no, she was saying she's from Filipino Raquel.
Is that Larry at home?
Yeah, I'm at home. I got
Yeah.
home today.
God bless you, Larry. That's
I
a
drove-
hell of a on the road
way
again
there,
trip.
I took two different routes, one different going in and one coming back, different routes. On the way there from my apartment to my sister's was 905 miles, just a hair over. And on the way back, it was just a hair under 893 miles.
How
I'll
did
take the longer route next time. I prefer that drive.
Oh, okay.
Well, the shorter drive, I'm out in the country for hours, and I don't really see a rest stop.
Uh,
It's a lot of back roads.
yeah.
And
Okay.
now I can do that, but if there had been an emergency, I'd have been pulling over onto a side road with a cornfield and probably got in trouble.
Yeah, could be.
But yeah, and the other way, I'm not taking the main highways. That's
Yeah.
70. I take a back. It's a highway, but it's an old highway, and so it has less truck traffic, and so things flow smoother.
Hey, Jack said hello a while back. Where's he?
He just said hi. I told him hi back. I haven't
Yeah.
seen him since then.
I thought I told him hi too. If not, hi, Jack.
Who is World
Hi,
Tours?
Jack. Uh-oh, you're still on an airplane.
I thought he would come up, but he didn't come up.
Who's World Tours?
I don't know. He's new.
Yasmin.
I told you Yasmin was here.
Yeah, I'm just taking care to make sure that folks get moderated. I'm catching up on my paperwork. Yeah, I wouldn't buy all the crap that's being spewed in the press. Not even I would not. There's no way. No way that they're going to pollute my brain with useless information. This whole thing about uh, DJT, is just to distract you from other things. That's how I view it. Propaganda. So yes, of course, when you make the decision that you're going to be in the public eye the way that these guys, all the people we've been discussing, you take those risks. I
Absolutely.
don't know whether anybody did anything right or wrong anywhere. Anywhere. I can't say, oh, I can't make a blanket statement like, oh, if you're in DC, that's a requirement. Being a crook is a requirement.
That's
Who knows
almost
how
true, though.
who knows how the cards are going to fall. But
Yeah.
everybody's spewing all this garbage, focusing on DJT.
Uh,
Just tells me that there's other stuff going on
Oh,
that
absolutely.
we should be looking at. That's all it
Absolutely.
is. Just a signal for me to be digging deeper to figure out where the real news is.
Yeah, that's why I try to keep up with Bo.
Can you send
well,
me a link? Can you send me a link to a couple of the commentators that you watch?
Yeah.
I'm very interested in that, Leonard.
I like
Yeah.
Tim's comment here. He goes, Dan can pollute his brain all by himself. No outside influences are necessary.
Exactly.
I'm sure glad.
Exactly.
I'm sure glad I didn't leave that opening.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, I can smell piles of crap miles away, the same as anybody else.
Yeah, especially if you walk in some of the larger U.S. cities.
Yes.
And so I
That's
don't
a
know what it is
shame.
about the Philippines here. I don't know what it is, but I think part of it is that you don't get bombarded with garbage all day long here in
I,
the
I, th-
Philippines. And so
yeah,
that's got to affect your psyche, your belief
I think
system.
a big benefit of living in the Philippines is getting away from the American bullshit.
Right.
Yes.
It is a benefit.
Yeah,
And so
that's probably one of the major benefits.
I don't know if that
Oh,
contributes to you.
that would really help relieve the stress that people feel.
Well, yeah, I don't know though I think it cleanses your brain of all the crap that you're fed.
Yeah.
But it's coming here because I had mentioned several times that commercials, Filipinos are being bombarded with the same marketing crap, consumer crap that is marketed to us on a daily basis in the United States. And that's troublesome for me. That's worrisome. Except except for one thing. There's one thing that where it may not have the same impact here, and that is that most Filipinos don't sit in front of the television set 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
That's a really, really good thing. But they do sit in front of, they do refer to their cell phones once every couple of seconds.
Everybody's hooked on a cell phone in this world, and they want it that way.
Yep.
So I mean, that's one of the benefits, I guess, is you're not sitting there in front of the TV set watching it all day, all night long.
Well, they use the cell phone to play games. I'll give you a good example. I've been doing a lot medically since January. The stuff I think about, talk about, mostly through channels and stuff on my cell phone, bombard me with advertising all over my phone, like on Facebook or anywhere else I go. Google, Facebook, I get nothing but medical bombardment. And if I mention cancer and that I may going to die, I got funeral directors. If I mention lymphedema, I got lymphedema stuff. If I mention
Exactly.
general practitioners, I got every family doctor in my neighborhood sending me an email.
Oh, sure.
Right. Right.
They
As a
would.
matter of fact, as soon
I
as
Maybe
you
didn't
one
ask
mention,
might.
for any of this.
yeah,
And how do
as
they
soon
know?
hey, as soon as you mention lipidemia, guess what happened on my phone?
You got a thing for it.
I got a message in my email.
Doesn't
you
that blow
see-
your mind? They're watching.
They're
When I
watching
make-
you. They're listening to you. The deep state, is it the technocrats? Who is it? Who is it that's watching?
It's Google. It's Alphabet, the parent company of Google. I mention cars all the time. You would not believe all the car deals that I get, and because where I live, they sell tons of Kia and Hyundai, a handful of Subarus. I get tons of Kia, tons of Hyundai, and a handful of Subarus. Little bit of Ford, little bit of Dodge, a spit shot of Toyota. But I don't get any of the other brands because I don't talk about them, and they're not here really. Like you can't buy a Mercedes in my neighborhood. And
Mike says, question, do you hear Biden saying nasty things to people? Would you rather have someone who makes allies, enemies, or who tells stories but is human? Is that a rhetorical question, Mike?
Biden's a tough sandwich. That's all I can tell you.
Also, Mike says, prayers to those affected by the Mayan volcano. Yeah, at first they were like, nothing to see here, and now they're saying, run like hell. This thing's got to blow its stack. I mean, things have changed in the last 24 hours.
What
Yeah.
Mayan volcano?
The one in the Philippines.
Yeah, it's blowing its core.
I did not know that's what it was called either.
Sir Luke says your kettle is spying on you.
I didn't hear about the volcano in the Philippines ready to go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. How far is that away from Steve?
I keep getting stuff about how the United States is splitting in half at the Mississippi, and Yellowstone's ready to blow, and California's going to fall off.
There is a definite possibility about Yellowstone, and that is a super volcano.
It's a super volcano. They say the thing that helps it is the geysers going off, helps keep the pressure under control.
If it goes, though, ain't none of us going to be here. None of us here in the United States.
Well, not. I would say that California might survive, although it may break off and fall into the ocean.
It'll break off, fall into the ocean, and sink.
Well,
I don't know what's going to happen with the Laurel Highlands of Pennsylvania.
The thing is, if Yellowstone blows, erupts, it'll put so much of a heat and dust cloud in the atmosphere that it will suffocate and burn everybody in the United States and the southern half of Canada and northern half of Mexico.
Well, then we're done.
That's what I just said. But Dan was thinking that LA or California might be okay. But yeah, he's probably right. They probably will break off. They probably will break off, but they'll probably just sink. So
I'm 1,000 feet higher than anything around me for a long, long distance.
Which means you'll get the first part of the heat and the dust.
Great. Right now we're like today. It was 60 degrees here, 62. It's a lot cooler here this week.
Yeah, they're looking at 100 to 109 this week here.
Hey, Filipina, Raquel, shout out. Thanks for sending folks my way. I truly appreciate it.
Yeah.
Jonathan, big supporter. Thank you so much.
Hey, Jonathan.
Part of Filipina Raquel's team.
Alexa, what's the temperature here right now?
Who are you talking to?
Who, me?
Himself.
I was talking to my Alexa. It's 54 degrees here right now.
Yeah.
It's probably that kind of cold where Larry is. Me and Larry got very similar weather.
Yeah, we're down in the 60s tonight. If not,
Hey, well, I got an audience, 17 million people. Don't forget to go in there and watch Filipina Eats Chicken video that we just put up as a short.
I saw that one.
And I
watched that right before I got on here.
What do you think
I got one for your other short.
Magnifying glass.
I seen your shirt with the little train on it.
Oh yeah.
I want to put donuts on the train and put a little Dunkin' Donut emblem.
I thought
Dunkin'
about that.
Donut advertising.
You don't think, Mac Daddy, you don't think that I didn't think of doing something like that, but that toy, we only used it once for filming that video, and then we packaged it back up and gave it to Crystal's Adventures kids.
Well,
We
that's
packed
nice.
it all up.
But,
Yeah,
you
that's
should buy
cool.
another one and put Dunkin' put Dunkin'
Crystals,
Donuts on it. Let
that
them know that
chicken
you're
head-
doing it.
I need to tell Crystals that chicken head was in Man Minnie's mouth, Crystal. So you
Ooh.
need to wash that if you're going to give it. If you're going to give it to one of your kids. I'm not sure if Man Minnie washed it or not.
Dan, you got to get another one of those trains and put Dunkin' Donuts all over it and send it
That
flying
would be
around.
fun, huh?
Let them
That
know
would be
you're
fun.
doing it. They'll probably pay you a ton of money for it.
Yeah, that would be fun, really.
Yep, that's true. You might make a buck on that.
Yeah, I'd like to see you get a week's vacation somewhere out of it in the
A
Philippines.
good reason Mike says to come to Canada is we don't have volcanoes or Trump, and we have Toronto and Niagara Falls. So there you go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
you're not
problem
going to.
is-
Yeah, well,
What
some
reason do you
volcanoes
need?
going to
Problem
love you
is-
too.
yeah,
Those would be your
Well,
top 10
Yellowstone-
reasons, right?
Yellowstone volcano will probably get you guys too.
Yeah, it'll probably take out a piece of. It probably will take out Toronto, wouldn't it?
I would think so.
It's the
Yeah.
largest
Because if
volcano
they-
in the world.
Yeah, it's a super volcano. So all these others
Of course,
we
Mike.
see
Some
devastate
would
things.
argue that Toronto needs to go too. Oh my goodness gracious!
Hey.
We're having too much fun. We're having too much fun.
That's why we come. That's why we come here.
All right, so now are we done with that? Are we going? We have been talking about a relative relationship between, whether you consider the Philippines paradise or not. And I would say that, or hell, and I would say that it's a long way from being hell for me. But
Yeah.
what about the Filipinos in the chat? The Filipinas in the chat.
Yeah, but
What do
you
Why is it
wait a minute.
paradise to you? Why is it paradise to you? What makes it such a lovely place for you? Aren't you concerned about the same thing that we all think about when living in the States? How are we gonna pay our rent? How are we gonna buy a sack of rice to get by? Where are we gonna find
Can I help you out,
groceries?
Dan?
Go ahead.
You're so happy in the Philippines because you got a pocket full of kryptonite. You know what I mean
Hey.
by that?
Hey, listen, I kind of have a sense of what you mean by it, but go ahead and articulate it a little bit better for me.
Okay, I will.
Yes.
Picture life as a shit sandwich. The more bread you have, the less shit you eat.
Yeah, that's exactly the way that I feel. That is
And-
exactly the way that I feel. How much crap can you be bombarded with?
Hey,
How
Mariana.
much crap can you be fed before you finally have to say, whoa, I've eaten too much crap?
Exactly. And you got enough bread to make it all go away.
Now I do.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I'm just saying, and you're fortunate. And I ain't saying anything negative or anything positive. I'm just pointing out the fact that you're not a bazillionaire. You're just comfortable. And you're comfortable enough to do what you need to do, and then a little bit. And you're enjoying your life. You're living it to the fullest. God bless you.
That's what we're supposed to do in retirement.
Yes.
Exactly. And that's the reason for the move. That's why we planned it this way.
Yep.
Planned it this way. Thanks, Brenda, for coming. I appreciate it. Oh, Filipina.
Hey,
Filipina
Brenda, how are you?
was knocking it out of the park. Anna, thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Hey, Anna.
You know what I've been getting from coming to your channel, Dan?
What's that?
I get all these Filipino women on Facebook wanting to be my friend, and they're all like just about naked in their pictures.
Well, that's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, hey,
That's a
yeah,
good reason for coming here.
Yeah.
it's better than getting pictures of, say, like Leonard and Larry in their underwear for sure.
Oh, Mike,
you,
Mike
you
must be
poke your
listening in
eyes
the
out. You got a
background.
Nothing
picture of me
personal,
about
guys.
it.
You're my friends, but you know.
Hey,
Yes,
Phil
we
from Buena
couldn't
Vista
afford to
Dreaming
see
is
me in
here.
my underwear.
He's saying, "Oh my God, please let California break off and fall into the ocean. You can start with my house." I'm so done with bills. Yeah, Mike and I, we talked about this a little bit. You know, we have a lot of things in common. Of course, we don't
There's
agree
a,
on everything, but
there's a
the
problem with
basics.
all that, though.
What?
If something like that big would happen, and say it happened for 10 minutes and we were all over it and we all survive it, there'll be so much necessary aid and help needed, it'll bankrupt the United States.
Pretty much. Oh,
You
you mean
know,
very similar to what's going on in Eastern Europe? In other words, it's pretty much on its way to bankrupting the United States.
I don't know if
The
Eastern
problem,
Europe's going to do that. They're trying to
the
pick up
problem in
the.
the Philippines is I am in Canada.
Yeah,
Yeah,
really.
Yeah,
I
Mike,
am
I agree.
curious, Mike, about why that is, but I don't want to. I'm, I figure if you want us to know why you go back and forth instead of staying permanently in one place or the other, you would
Well,
have told us
he
by
may
now.
have a job he has to go back to.
Mike
I thought he
Hagel's
was
there.
retired.
Hagel's,
I don't know.
Yeah, Anna,
Anna, how
Anna's
are you?
here.
Here's a thought for you with Eastern Europe. And I discussed this. You guys maybe have heard me talk about it before. Where I live, they're building all the hardware that goes to Eastern Europe.
Yeah, you mentioned that before.
God bless America.
They're
Yep.
building, they're now building, it was just on the news, over 200 fast strike vehicles.
yeah, Tim, you're right. The World Court would sue us.
And they've been building all them shoulder launch surface to air missile and javelin missiles. They're building them by the pallet full and shipping them over there. I
That's
rode by the airport the other day. There was 60 pallets of them out on the runway. They were loaded. So
There's Tim's comment.
yeah.
If California falls into the ocean, the world court will arrest the United States for littering and polluting of the ocean. Yeah, exactly right. And the reason why I like hanging
That's a
around
good.
with Tim
Yep.
right there.
Yeah, Tim's.
well, if California falls off in the ocean, Asia's going to get hit with the tsunami, biggest tsunamis they ever seen, maybe.
That could be.
That could be like a 200-foot wave that hits the Philippines.
Well, it's got far enough to go that it might deplete and dissipate before it got there. But it's still. I'm sure there'll still be some effects.
Oh, trust me, there's depends on what the plate shift underneath is.
Yes.
It's amazing what that stuff does, and we still don't understand it. We know more about outer space than we do about the ocean floor.
Yep.
Just a fact.
But it's not exactly so. Although there are beautiful places in the Philippines, I mean, they have rocky and white sandy beaches everywhere. And even though they're beautiful places, I'm still amazed at how you have a lot of YouTubers spending most of their time trying to convince you that it's all about the white sandy beaches and the Cabana Boys, and it's all about drinking fruity umbrella drinks while somebody is serving you. I'm still amazed by that approach. I think that moving forward on my channel, I will be following examples set by regular guy, and I'll be telling more stories about people, places, and events that have occurred in the past, and then giving my own sort of take on it. They're not going to be very complicated or deep. They're just going to be very, very simple stories of truth, events, that sort of thing.
I like the one guy who used to go to all the ghettos in the Philippines and walk through.
They get big views. They get big views, and I think
Oh
it's.
my
I think
God, the ghetto
yeah. I
life he
think
was showing, like in Manila and
yeah.
Angeles City and all
Tondo.
through
He's
them.
showing the Tondo area. Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
amazing.
Believe me, I thought about it. I thought about it, and I just kind of, you know,
Nah, you can't go there. They could grab a hold of you and
no, it doesn't happen that way. The Philippines, the whole thing is, yeah, maybe it's not the safest place to be in the middle of the night,
Right.
but there,
But you're not
there
going to go there in the
certainly,
middle of the night. So,
yeah, certainly they're as welcoming as any barangay that I've ever seen.
and I've
You know,
seen that
I've
too, Dan. I agree with you. I've seen that.
yeah,
There's a lot of friendly element there, but there's an element of underneath.
right.
It just goes
yeah,
with the neighborhood.
but that element usually is nocturnal.
And yeah, I experienced that in the city of Philadelphia alone.
Well, I'm not going
Yeah.
to say that there isn't that kind of activity that goes on where you just have to be aware of your surroundings. You have to have your head on a swivel most of
Oh,
the
sure.
time here, and so
Hey,
you'll feel comfortable
it's like that here in Houston, a lot of areas.
yeah, in some environment more than others. But
Yep.
I can tell you that I a part of the story about how when Minnie and I made our way over here to when we first came into Manila, we were making our way to the hotel, and I was insisting on taking the Jeep. We did have a guy that was stalking us a little bit. He was paying a little bit too close attention
You
to
know, he
what
was
we
just
were
checking
sharing.
Minnie out.
Yeah, well, that's what I told her. She said, "No,
Yeah.
this guy's looking to try and figure out how he's going to do something." It was the middle of the
Oh,
day.
she was concerned about it.
Right. She was concerned about it.
Okay.
And so uh, I just stared the guy down. I stared the guy down and I stood right there and I pointed my camera at him and I took his picture
Yeah.
there. I said, I've already sent that over to my YouTube channel.
I used to collect
So I
money
had
for.
his picture on there. And then that was the
I,
end of that.
I used to collect money for a beer company in Philly, and some of the streets I'd have to go to in North Philly. I swear to God, if there was 7 windows in those houses on that street, that was a lot. They were all boarded up, but people are still living in them with the front door wide open, like on every one.
Yeah.
And I used to have to go there, and my boss used to ask me, "Why, when I send you out on certain days, do you come in dressed in rags?" And I looked at him. I said, "Where do you think I'm going?" I used to dress in rags to go to them neighborhoods, knowing that if I went well dressed, I was a target.
You'd look less like a quality target. Yep. Yep.
Oh, I just look like I fit in. I walk down the street kind of goofy, which is part of it. And, I just I'm in my rags like I don't mean anything. I don't,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Make you
like
less
that.
suspicious.
Well, I just look like I fit in the background,
Yeah.
especially since in some of those neighborhoods, and I ain't prejudiced, but, I'd be like one of the few white people in the hood.
Yep.
They're
You
all
better not look
Spanish.
like you got money.
What?
So you better not look like you got money.
Right.
Well, exactly. Well, yeah, I'm just hiding. I'm hiding in the element he sent me to.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, I'd walk out some of them doors with $7,000 or $8,000, and it was like hidden in the lining of my jacket. It was never in the coat pocket. I'm telling you, it's never in my pocket. It's in my jacket lining. Yeah, those are the days. But I'm just telling you, the Philippines, I love those like neighborhoods. I'm amazed at how those people survive. I'm like one person has electric and probably has 50 people on extension cords. And they're collecting from them all. Or the water lines, how they do plumbing in those ghettos. Oh my God. The best I seen though was these little kids had
Take care, Mike.
they had styrofoam packing crates and they were ferrying people across like this little swamp in the
Hey, take
ghetto
it
and
easy,
getting paid
Mike.
for it. And that's what I love about the Philippines too. It has everything, Dan.
he stepped away.
Dan stepped away for a moment.
I'm sorry. Yeah, my vision. I'm low vision.
Yeah.
Larry, do you got any more videos coming up of your trip home?
The only one I may put up is a picture, very short video of my mother.
Oh,
Okay,
that'd be
that
a
would
good
be
one.
nice.
I did not take any videos at the of the family reunion. I got a cousin. Now he's probably 40s. And when he was about 16 or 17, he was driving to his grandmother's house
Yeah, you had
to
mentioned
check
that.
on her. And so he's handicapped, and he was there, so I didn't want to get pictures of him. And then my sister Ruth Ann's got MS, and she's been almost halfway over, and I didn't really want to show her.
Right.
And
I would have liked to seen, and I assume that you didn't shoot them. Some of the places where you were stopping to eat and stuff on roadside on the way back was nice.
no, I did not shoot any of those. I probably should have.
Yeah,
I stopped in Erie, Pennsylvania, and I stayed in a Quality Inn, and they had a real nice bar restaurant, which is where I ate my supper last night. I probably should have took a video of that, showed you the menu, and then the food.
That would have
when it
been cool.
arrived. I had a patty melt with fries, curly fries.
I just got so much going on here right now. I want to open up and start shooting some videos, but I'm not quite to that point yet.
Well, tonight, I like I said, I got home. I still hadn't got all my stuff put away yet, and I was not in the mood to cook, so I ordered chicken wings, buffalo style, medium heat. They got just a little tang to them. Not so much that it burns your mouth, but enough that you know it's there.
For me, if it doesn't burn both ways, it's not good.
Well, I prefer
I
not
like
burn
swamp
both
fire.
ways. I've had stuff that burns both ways,
Yep.
but I prefer not to have it burn coming out.
Well,
I like
that's-
swamp fire. You guys ever have swamp fire?
No,
It's maple syrup, hot sauce, and like fresh garlic sauteed together with some butter.
now I stopped at Denny's in
Put that
Batavia on the way home. Met up with my brother-in-law and my youngest nephew. He's 51, and we had lunch together. My sister wasn't feeling well, so she didn't join us. And Denny's today was having all-you-can-eat pancakes. So that's what.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
I
Talking
didn't get the
Denny's.
pancakes.
We got a
I
brand
got
new one.
cheese and
SM City Mall.
vegetable beef soup. That was my lunch.
yeah. Did Denny's
Man,
finally
oh,
open
man.
over there, Dan?
I haven't had breakfast this morning.
Yeah,
then
he
you go
was
mention
Denny's
Denny's.
last night.
I like
Yeah.
IHOP pancakes.
So do I.
We have an
I think they're better than that.
IHOP in Terre Haute when I was back there. I didn't make it. I didn't do a lot of
Hey.
stuff that I a lot of times like to do. I was a little more busy
I
with my
think the
brother
Philippines
and
needs a Waffle House.
But,
Yeah.
we don't have
I'm
a
out of
Waffle House.
coffee,
We do have an
guys.
IHOP.
I'm out of
Yeah,
coffee.
you're too far north.
So it's time to shut down because you're out of coffee.
Well, I was
No.
going that direction. Yeah. So, and then you mentioned Denny's, and so that's pretty much it. But hey, I just wanted to say, I want to take a moment and say that I really, really appreciate you guys hanging with me and your opinion on things. It's really important to me whether I agree with you or not. It's the I guess what's most important to me is that we can have the conversation, still all remain friends.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
point of view.
Yeah.
And don't get upset with people because everybody's point of view is shaped by the life they live in.
Yeah.
Me and Larry live in the north. Leonard lives in the south. You're in the Philippines.
I'm
so,
from
you
the
know-
north, though.
Yeah, exactly, but you know what I'm saying.
Yes, yeah.
And you know what I would
Life is our
appreciate though?
experience.
I really appreciate links, links to commentators, links to people's blogs that write opinion pieces and things like that. Please feel
I
free
sent
to
you one,
message
Dan.
me. You did. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
I really, really appreciate it because I
sent you
like
that
it.
one from Bo.
I like learning. I like
It's one of
expanding
his-
my
one of
knowledge
his,
base. And if you
actually,
can
it's
change
one
my
of my
mind
fifth.
about something,
Yeah.
all
Well,
the
the thing about
all the
him
credit
is
to you.
he's pretty much he's definitely not a Republican, but he swears up and down he's not a Democrat.
Who's
Mhm.
And
that?
I agree. He's not. I mean, he's not promoting either party.
Yeah.
So he
No,
gives you kind of a.
like I said, he's somewhere in the central, but he leans towards the Dems over the Republicans, but he is central. If you're talking about Robert Kennedy, and that's
No,
what I prefer.
I'm not talking about Robert Kennedy.
Okay, who are you
Well,
talking about?
I can.
I'm talking about Bo of the fifth column. He's a YouTuber.
I never heard of him.
Yeah, and so we should get to know him, and get
Yeah.
his take on things.
He's got
And then also-
really good take on a lot of stuff, and a lot of times his information will come out before the media has it.
That's
I would
really
say
good.
that the two people that I watch and listen to that have the most influence over my opinions on the way of the world, the way of the politics of the United States, two folks, two channels. One of them would be Gerald Celente,
Never seen him.
Trends Graphics, Peace and Freedom Movement, and then also the other one would be Stephen Gardner. So they're on the extreme, they're on the fringes, So you could go take a look and see what they have to say. Gerald Celente is quite a character, and once in a while, Stephen Gardner will have him on his program. But Gerald Celente used to be on Oprah and all the shows, all the talk shows, and then they pretty much abandoned him as he started to become a little bit more aggressive in the way he vocalized his beliefs, and they were contrary to mainstream beliefs, and so they cut him out, and so he no longer makes those appearances on the places like Fox and CNN and national talk show circuit. So he started his own YouTube channel, and he also has he has Peace and Freedom Movement, Peace and Freedom. I don't know if it's peaceandfreedom.com, which sounds a little bit pro-Trump, but it is not. So you might want to take a look. See his name again, Gerald Celente.
You know who I miss,
You'll figure out why I like him a lot.
you know who I miss growing up? And I learned so much watching his show. Phil
Right.
Donahue.
Phil
was
Donahue, I
amazing.
really enjoyed. Yeah,
Yeah, I like him.
married to Marlo Thomas.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he went off the air way back when, but he taught me how to look at the world, argue, and I learned how I still live my life today from him. So, God bless him.
Yeah, is Phil Donahue still around?
Oh,
I
I
think
think
I think
I-
he's
it might-
still alive. I haven't
I
heard
think
of
he's
him.
still
passing.
alive, but I haven't heard from him in forever.
Yeah,
But
I
Yeah,
haven't
Phil
heard anything
Donahue's
about him
still alive.
passing. But
he had a guy on his show one time that talked about how to live for 20% in America. And he taught me how to live my life. He taught me how to I don't need anything new, buy it all used.
now I just
Exactly
looked up
right.
Wikipedia.
Words to live by. Words to live by. I love it when you say that.
Phil
That's the
Donahue
way
was
I
born
do
in
it.
35 and died in 21,
well, yeah, that's
Ah.
possible. I hadn't
at the
heard.
age of 87.
The problem
Yeah.
with that is, Larry, you got that off Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Anybody can post anything on Wikipedia,
I know. I'm just saying that's what Wikipedia
Yeah.
said.
and they put it up. They put it out as fact.
All right.
And I've seen
Well,
so many things.
All right. Now, Dan, you
that
said
were
you want me to do
totally
the
wrong.
closing?
What's that?
Oh wait, no, you can't yet because we have
you
to
haven't done the
select a winner.
100 peso.
We have to select a 100 peso winner, and,
Yeah.
and as Anna May knows, I went and I loaded up at the 7-Eleven this morning because I sent her the rest of
You sent her
of
the
her
other
winnings.
30?
Yeah, I sent her the other 30, and but you know who I think is very deserving of this 100 pesos
Me.
that I hope will go out. Yeah, of course you are, Larry. Of course you are. When you get to the Philippines, I'm going to give it to you too. So,
I'll do a cup of coffee and a donut.
Yep.
but here's who wins today. All of a sudden, did you notice that as soon as I said I was going to announce the winner, all of a sudden I jumped up in the chat numbers, from 7 to 11. Anyway, the winner is, let's see, I want to highlight her, but I don't see her. She was early on in the chat. I think it's going to be today for sure. It's going to be Yasmin.
Yeah, she
Oh,
was.
wow,
She was
okay.
here.
She
Did
was
you ever
Yeah.
give her the blue jacket?
I don't know if I did or not. I hope I did.
No, she
Yasmin,
didn't have it.
anybody who's in the chat, let Yasmin know. Maybe she's in the background that I'm
Yasmin, are you
sending her
still
on
here? Come
100
on up and say
pesos.
hi.
Is she here?
I don't know. That's what I'm telling her. Come up and say hi if you're here, Yasmin.
And while we're waiting for that, if you know what her Gcash account number is, send it to me in the messenger, and I'd be truly appreciative to you if you would do that. And then also, I wanted to say something else. Oh, hey Joe, Buena Vista Dreamin'. Hey Joe, Mike, when are you going to come up here and show your face? You don't even show it on your channel, but I know what you look like. I know what you look like. Why don't you?
Dan?
Why don't you come up here and say hello
Yeah,
now
really,
and again?
that'd be
you
cool.
know? Yeah, that would be cool. And
I got to
go
get a
over,
mask.
sign up. Give Mike, if you wouldn't mind, give Mike a boost by going over to Mike Hey Joe at Buena Vista Dreamin', and give him a little like and subscribe to his channel. And I have a feeling that his channel is going to grow. I have a feeling he's going to grow his channel, especially when he gets over here to the Philippines. But all right, everybody.
I want to see the new Leonard Lund channel come to town.
Hey, Nicole, how you doing?
I've got a channel. You just don't have
Yeah,
much
Leonard has
on it.
one. Yeah,
We
I've
got to
got-
expand it.
Dead
I
Gaming,
definitely need more
Peace
content.
Lap is here. Thank everybody. Send the message out. I'll be chatting with Filipina Raquel and let her know that I really appreciate her sending folks over and
Yeah.
putting it out. I'll tell you what, when Filipina, I'm going to tell you guys got to get in good with Filipina Raquel. She has got a magnificent team. I'm going to tell you something. When she's live and I put something up on video, right? She'll direct everybody towards that. she'll make it explode. I don't know how she does it. I really don't know how she does it, but she's just got a really dedicated
Rams
team.
just showed up too.
Members, and Scorpion Blue is here. Oh, Yasmin. Okay, Yasmin, here you are. Okay, you're today's 100 peso winner, Yasmin. Find me on Messenger if not, or hopefully I'll take a look around to see if I've got your Gcash number, and I'll be sending that 100 pesos out. You're today's 100 peso winner. Thank you so much for being in the chat. And Larry, you're up.
All right, everyone. From Dan and the rest of the crew, thank you for coming. Remember to be nice to each other, stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, try to have fun. And we'll see you in the next one. Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye,
Thanks for
everyone.
being here and giving me of your time. We'll see everybody on the next live.
All right.
Take
I'm
care.